So it's come to my attention that the latest DC Studios release, Supergirl, has garnered the attention of some unsavory individuals. That being dudes that either never touched a comic book a day in their lives, or hateful bigots that despise anything that doesn't fit their narrow view of what a comic book character should be. And with such negative discourse occurring to the point where these people are basically making a living off of it, I couldn't help but wonder if, as a collective, we should start to gatekeep comics again. And if we did, what would that entail for the projects we're bound to get in the future? Now, on an individual level, I've never held back any comics I thought someone would enjoy. I've shared some of my favorites with my girlfriend, and that's made her a lot more open to current superhero projects across television and film alike. On an even more personal level, I've shared comics with my grandparents as a way to have conversations about stories, and it's specifically helped my grandmother engage with things that go beyond the news and her novelas. Even on this very channel, I've made the shift to sharing some of my favorite stories with you as I experience them. After all, you all know me as Foster, a name I've chosen because it means to promote the growth of something. I love movies, comics, and video games, and I want these mediums to flourish through fruitful discussions and constructive criticisms, which is practically antithetical to what these people are spewing online. The extreme discourse for a lot of these projects across a myriad of different channels and individuals make it seem like it's all or nothing with every project that comes out. Some people have put into question the fate of the DCU off of Supergirl's lackluster performance at the box office during its opening weekend, despite this only being the second film from the studio. Others have shared points of criticism that amount to sexist remarks and examples of completely missing vital information from what's explicitly presented in the film.
Supergirl is everything we all feared it would be, and more. So much more. A cringy, cliched, tedious mess of dull, lifeless action scenes that we've seen a million times before, one-dimensional characters with nothing even resembling arcs, and a protagonist who's about as likeable and empathetic as a British politician. In short, Supergirl is a fucking disaster. The wrong movie at the wrong time, based on the wrong source material, made by the wrong people, and starring the wrong actress.
Starting off with Critical Drinker's points regarding Kara's character and how they're just wrong. To say that Supergirl, the character who consistently empathized with Ruthie's plight and grief, was not empathetic is just wildly false. Plus, saying that the film was based on the wrong source material when Woman of Tomorrow is beloved by most people within the comic book community and has garnered recognition with a nomination for an Eisner Award is also just some poser grifter shit.
All you need to know is that Supergirl is fucking retarded and an absolute disgrace to the character of Lobo. I don't really have the willpower to be looking through this trailer bit by bit, criticizing it and trying to compare it to the comics. All you need to know is that it's just a piece of shit that nobody's gonna watch and kind of a disgrace to the comic characters that it's using.
2 seconds later.
I'm not even a fan of Supergirl as a character in any way whatsoever. The same goes for Superman.
Ranting for Vengeance, on the other hand, already spelled out the doom and gloom of the film's performance and quality months prior to its release. Dude took one look at the trailer, said it was a disgrace towards Lobo, and then proceeded to say that he never really gave a damn about Supergirl or Superman to begin with. So he essentially made a completely off-base judgment and simply dumped hatred for something that wasn't even out at the time for attention. And that's just it, isn't it? These two in particular represent the dark side of the comic book community, where you have people who misconstrue a project to the point where you question whether or not they actually watched it, or you have whiny man-babies in dark rooms pretending to be tough and denounce anything that isn't specifically what they like. And that just sucks for everyone else who's pretty normal about all this and just want to see the things they've grown up with be adapted into big screen flicks and share them with friends and family. Now, I'm not going to say that Supergirl was as robust of a film as the first entry in the DCU, because I think that the film could have benefited from being longer so we could flesh out other aspects that were really crucial to the comic. For all intents and purposes, I think that if you're not convinced about Kara's character, or you did end up liking her, you should check out the comic the film is loosely based on. It has a more satisfying journey that in this film is ultimately condensed far too much, and we didn't really get the full degree of greatness that is that particular story. Despite that, I still wouldn't say that the film is a failure or really a bad superhero movie. If you want to see a bad superhero movie, go watch Fan Four Stick. I also wouldn't say that something that's just good means that it's all over for the DCU. Clayface, which has had positive news almost each time it's brought up, and Man of Tomorrow are really exciting projects for comic fans and general audiences. One is a new genre-blending project that feels like a breath of fresh air, and the other is a continuation of a critically and audience-praised superhero adventure. These, alongside others like Spider-Man Brand New Day and the currently airing second season of X-Men 97, makes me think that most things are really only going to get better from here on out. And so, with good things on the horizon, should what's occurred with Supergirl be treated as a red flag, and should we start to gatekeep these projects from people like Ranting for Vengeance and Critical Drinker? In all honesty, no. There's no way we could ever really stop these people from talking their shit and spewing their hatred. There will always be people who flock to such negativity, whether they actually think those things or just want to be in their own safe space where they can get to have their notions validated. The only thing that we, and that's people like you and me, can really do is simply ignore them. We just gotta do this to them. Because if we retaliate with the same level of vitriol, then we only give them fuel to create more slop, and we're never really going to convince these people of anything. So not only would we be encouraging a vicious cycle of hate comments, but the projects we'll be getting will no longer feel like something everyone can share and experience with curiosity and reverence. Will there be more films and TV shows that don't quite hit the mark or even flounder? Yes, it's inevitable. But actively shitting on something in ways that fundamentally and purposefully misrepresent what's on the screen isn't going to do anything for us. In fact, I believe that it'll only misguide studio executives and creatives. Since my DC's Redemption video, I've been motivated to craft a nice corner of the internet for people to commune and basically hang out and talk about comic books. Clearly since then, I've become more aware of just how important that sort of thing is, because I refuse to believe that most people within this community think with such doom and gloom. And if you do, well then, maybe I can help you see things differently. Other comic book creators like Mullet Man Comics, Nikhil Clayton, and of course Comicstorian, rest in peace Benny, are all channels that I think you should check out and are really representative of what I'd like to be here for you. Let's put an end to all this hate and rage and look towards these things with a bit more optimism and whimsy, because all these other motherfuckers have absolutely no whimsy. And that's really it. That's all I wanted to talk about today, and I hope you enjoyed the video and you'll consider subscribing for more comic book related content. It's your boy Foster Cinema, and I hope you have a good day and a good night.